Welcome to the most hated show in the black corner of the internet. This is your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Minds, coming with another show. Today's date is July 9, 2019, and this is what I have on the menu. Well, you know you heard of the Blue Bell liquor, but there's also a copycat. And this cat was arrested in Louisiana, but listen to how they did it. Check this story out. Well, in Kissimmee, Florida, Disneyland, we see that a family got into a family feud of the worst sort. Put a black eye on us. Let's watch that one as we relate that story. Did you hear of a man that was bitten over by 100 dogs? Mauled him to death. We'll talk about that story. Mayor de Blasio, is he using his black son like a black card? Let's look at what his son had said and let's see what he'd been talking about lately. Did you hear about a man slashing the throat of a young teenager due to the simple fact that he was playing rap music? Well, check this story out. There's a nationwide protest in the Holy Land. Killed a teen by police. Those in Israel are saying it's racial. Oh, this disease must be all over the world. We're going to see this one. Did you hear about this Air Force plane or jet that was flying over, ran into some birds, and somehow it ejected out bombs? They said they were dummy bombs, but they also said they could detonate, but they didn't have that kind of power. Well, check this story out. Well, I got a young brother that made a little sensation out there. You know, we got to give some positivity once in a while on the news because sometimes we always dealing in the negative. It may seem or appear, a lot of it's just educational. This little young brother here got some pipes and we're going to listen to him as he do his viral video. Stevie Wonder has announced that he may be, or it's not maybe, it is, he's going to take surgery to replace his kidneys. We have to wonder about Stevie Wonder. Yeah, hopefully everything goes well. Well, we're going to check that story out. And we're going to have a subscriber's choice today. You know, if you want to be a participant of that, all you do is send in article, suggest a video, I'll look over, and if we should make the show, I will definitely give you credit for your story. Again, this is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. I'm your host again, Mr. Blows Your Mind, and this channel is to report, articulate, insinuate, incite, inspire. Because why we do it from websites, newspaper clippings, web articles, publications, wherever we can find the story. First and foremost, we give honor to the creator of the universe. Because why? The truth don't need no partner. As a descendant of the greatest people who created this place that you call the United States, we as BADOS, which is Black American Descendants of Slaves, some may say Black African Descendants of Slaves, some may also say American Descendants of Slaves. We give honor to our ancestors. And you know what my motto is? I'm never gonna tell you what I heard. I'm only gonna tell you what I know. Stay tuned for this July 9, 2019 broadcast. Hey, how's y'all doing? Again, this is your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blows Your Mind, and welcome to Black MINDZ News. Today's date again is July the 9th, 2019, And first and foremost, I want to say what's good to the fam who should be subscribers to the show. What's good, everybody? And I hope you know we're getting on the countdown to get down to 30 days. Got 60 more days. And we'll get back to the live show. We don't get back in that box again. I'm going to make it so blunt because, again, I'm already stacking it up for this litigation. I'm going to get this check. So stay tuned for that. Passerbys, welcome to the most hated show on the black corner of the internet. Maybe you would just happen to be surfing down the internet, took a corner, turned the wrong way, and somehow found this dead end hidden in the corner, up under the back, up under stuff, channel, and stumbled over here, and you got to like what you hear, and you now over here. Welcome. Hopefully you should go down the library, see something you might like. If you should happen to see something that may just ruffle your feathers and you don't like, leave me a little comment. Put your dislike on there. Maybe I can spit a couple syllables to you and get you to return. Maybe just was just something in that particular video that might just touch the nerve. But again, the truth don't need no partner. And so sometimes things are said not in to be mean-hearted or ill-will spirit, but that's just the way sometimes the truth just goes. But welcome if you should happen to be here. Stay like, subscribe, hit that like button, share button, and all that good stuff. Now, let's get into the show, right? As y'all been noticing lately, that the videos are getting a little bit more shorter because I'm trying to cut down the show. Trying to cut it all the way down because it seems like, it's too much time. People ain't got time because like the last show I just did yesterday, July 8th show, ain't got about 24 views. Now, I don't know because, again, some people might think I'm a conspiratorial type of individual, but I ain't going to do nothing but just tell you what the truth is. I ain't going to tell you what I heard. I'm only going to tell you what I know. Now, if you looked at what that video said, it's talked about constitutional, right? Carry. Now, do you think they want you to know about constitutional carry? So you think they ain't maybe trying to suppress that and about ammo getting, not ammo, not the biblical. It's ammo, meaning they're running out of time because now the legislation is going to have you have to fill out registration, and they're going to know every time you buy bullets, they're going to know what you're buying. So there was a deadline that everybody was running out there to get. So again, for some odd reason, that particular video only got about 24 at the time that I'm doing this video. Again, I went and I'm doing some other things because, again, I'm building my case. I've been stacking stuff for a long ass time, right? I'm going to get this money. You understand what I'm saying? I'm going to get it. Because you can't tell me that a show that I do, I come on down there every day. Once in a while, I take a day off. Once in a while, I take a week off, right? But I come on compared to somebody who is in the search engine. I can't even get in the search engine. I come on every day. You suppress the hell out of me. I have all the data. I got all the stuff to prove. Right? But you think it can't be shown. Well, again, like I keep telling y'all, when they don't put you by 6, get that check. Anyway, let's move on. I ain't going to talk about it. I ain't going to talk about it no more. Anyway. So, we have to say, we see, they always say people with copycat. Somebody do something, then somebody come around and they'll go copycat on it, right? Somebody go try to copycat something. We wonder why. Why would you copycat something, right? Why are you trying not to be original? Originality is a hard thing these days, right? I see bits and pieces of my work on other people's stuff. They act as if I don't know my work because the artist knows his work, but I don't trip about it because everybody try to take advantage of the simple fact that why? There ain't nobody watching him. At least, again, because you don't understand. You looking from the outside. You window shopping, right? You walking by, see the mannequin, see it all dressed up, and you just think, oh, it look nice on me. But you don't know. I'm the mannequin. You understand? I know what's going on. I know who dressing me and what is going on over here. You can't tell me that the show been on since 2012 to 2019 and can't get past 50 views, 100 views, and tell me it's not internal as to, again, having one of the most viral video that's been produced in the black corner that went all around this place that they had to stop it, to the fact that they just recently on June 5th took it off. Took it off after you restricted and did everything that I can't get these many views. And if you think that it's all about that, you think people just not come to see you, you don't believe, That's why I'm the most hated show, because see, they ain't listening to me. They're the one listening to me, right? They ain't listening to me, and they making sure what I say ain't gonna be heard. Now, some people may say, talking about aspects. Everybody got their own lane. This lane here, you can't go to the university to get it. This lane here is either spiritual or through experience. The only way you gonna get it. You're not gonna learn all that from there. So I can take the situation, I'm just talking from a generality, right? It's kind of like some people think that because people of our, in our families, that people, again, you don't lay out everything, and you don't tell me that the people who were before us and they talked about certain things that they didn't show you, somehow makes them that they weren't honest and truthful about what they talked about. See, you're starting to sound more westernized European when you talk like that. You understand? Everything, and then you got to ask yourself, if somebody's saying something that is detrimental versus when we talk about in opposition, do you think you're going to be able to pull out all the receipts? And then everything that you pull out isn't really what it is, or just what they laid out to be out there. And again, it's only partial truth, because we really don't know anything when it really comes down to it, do we? Right? So anyway, let me move on from that. So anyway, let's go. So copycat, right? So again, this individual here decided to do what he did, but I think there's a little twist to this story, for the simple fact that he did it, but then there's another part to it. But again, they seem like to not be really, elaborating about that part. They're just trying to say he copycatting. He might have, but again, it's a whole entirely different situation. But let me play it to you first, and then we'll be right back. Check this out, and we'll be right back.
36-year-old Louisiana man who says he was inspired by the viral video of a Texas teen licking a tub of ice cream inside a store now faces his own set of charges. Someone recorded Lanice Martin III pulling out a Bluebell carton from a store freezer, opening it, licking it, poking it with his finger, then putting it back on the shelf. Assumption Parish Sheriff's deputies found the video on Facebook and arrested Martin for unlawful posting of criminal activity for notoriety, among other charges. Investigators say Martin showed a receipt of purchase for Bluebell ice cream after the stunt, but Commander Lonnie Cavalier told CNN that will not absolve him from wrongdoing because it, quote, gives other people ideas that are not in the best interest of public health. Katie Johnston for CBS 11 News.
All right. So, check this out. So, he says a Louisiana man who was arrested allegedly licking ice cream. That's allegedly, right? You've seen in the video what he did, placing it back on the shelf in copycat video. Now, again, let's look at this, right? Let's really look at this, because a copycat would be identical, something identical to the original person who originally did it, right? And so we see that this brother here was arrested again. His name was Lanice Martin III, right? He was 36 years old. They took him into custody. And based on the simple fact that how they got this is that they was on Facebook, right? See, again, FBI book, profile book, right? All this social media is nothing but gathering information to have a profile on all of us who are out here doing what we're doing. So if you're doing what you're doing based on what you do, better stand on that square, because again, they're going to use it against you. Because again, something that was said in this needs to be looked at thoroughly, right? So we see that this circulating of online apparently showed him doing the deed. Again, according to the original little sister, I guess she's a sister, right? That dude was doing a licking the ice cream. That again, they're talking about giving her 20 years, right? Now, what you've seen in the video, you see that Martin appears to be opening the tub of ice cream. He lick it and then put his fingers in it and then place it back in the refrigerator, right? Or the freezer, right? So, according to the video, then they found out the location of where this video was taking place. So it seemed like the manager, again, must have, I guess he went to check his videos or whatever. And he returned to this, and then you see that based on the awareness of when that took place, this individual, Lanice Martin III, goes back to the store and shows and proves that he had purchased the ice cream. He just bought the ice cream, did the reenactment of what had took place, did a little extra by putting his finger on it. And when they cut the video off, what they're showing you is the end of him putting it back in the freezer, right? And so what they ended up doing is they was charging him with criminal mischief, right? Unlawful posting of criminal activity. Really? Think about that. Now again, ain't nobody trying to condone the fact that somebody going in there tampering with people's stuff that they think they purchasing brand new, and then it come out somebody is, I remember back in the days, for those who was around, remember when they did the Tylenol. Remember, that's where you end up getting the seal on a lot of the medications, and a lot of the other products later on start putting the seals away, because people was, you had people that come in the store, open it, drink it, and putting it back, right? But ain't nobody videotaping them doing it. Again, say giving people videos and cameras and stuff, and they just gonna videotape every damn thing, right? And so what we see is then they decide to charge him with mischief. Come on, right? He just did something, and again, they're saying the reason why they're doing this is because of notoriety and publicity of what you're doing, is what you're going to say. More people are going to emulate what you're doing. And by the fact, you being 36 years old, you should know better, right? But if they got channels, and channels is based on views, that's why Mr. Blow Your Mind could never get paid doing his, right? And at one time, I was considered to be in that, right? But I never got no check from them, because after I did what I did, they was there going to give me no check and make sure to demonetize everything. So I just got up out of that whole thing, but somehow they saying I'm in it. We check that out, right? So they saying his notoriety, criminal activity for notoriety and publicity remains jailed as of Monday, right? And, this goes back again to the girl who inspired that, right? She was caught licking, the Bluebell brand. Now, what is it about this Bluebell brand anyway, right? Think about this. People going crazy. Really, it's white folks going crazy about you licking this Bluebell. Now, Bluebell is made by the Cruz family, right? Cruz, Kruse family, who's systemic, and take it back to Germany, which is going to be German. Again, you understand? Think about it. What is the most spoken language in this nation? You would think that this nation is built, that the national language is English, which it is not. This nation doesn't even have a really official standard, I want to say official language. Let's put it that way. The majority, supposedly, and then we talking about population, according to census, it would be more of the German people. So somehow, black folks, because that's what it looked like. I ain't seeing no white folks doing it. I see black folks doing it. Touching Bluebell is ringing a bell that's, again, they were talking about 20 years. Putting you in prison for 20 years. Then nobody be like, wait a minute, why do you talking about 20 years? For licking some ice cream? Yeah, it's nasty as fuck. Don't get it. We ain't trying to, we just saying, damn, you were going to throw the book at him over 20 years? And a man can get shot up, a young man can get shot up 16 times, and the mug can only get, not even, you know what I'm saying? 3 years? But a mug licking ice cream could get 20. Man, you know what I'm saying? So you have to ask yourself, what was it about this particular brand and this? It's systemic to, again, this is Homeland. This is the family. These are some people that they look to and got Family Shield and all this other stuff, right? When you go and do the research. So again, they want to make this a kind of a, situation where they're going to stop all this shit, because they thinking that, again, people a little uptight and antsy, and they saying, well, black people are starting to rise up in a certain way. We're not liking this shit, and now they fucking with the shit. Are these motherfuckers going to start doing shit and doing, you know what I'm saying? So they very apprehensive, so they want to nip this in the bud. Now, again, I don't want to buy no shit somebody done, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like ordering food at a restaurant. You know, motherfuckers are pissed in your shit. Did all kinds of stupid shit. So, you don't even want to think about that kind of shit. And if you ever find out, you probably going to, bust somebody's shit to the white meat if you ever find out that they did that shit, right? So in this case, they catching you, you videotaping, you put it out there for notoriety. So, a slap on the wrist, put you through the rigmarole, put you out there, get your 15 minutes of fame. You too old to be doing that shit. And you, this young one here again, juvenile is what they saying. Well, it is again. Motherfuckers doing pranks all the goddamn time. That's basically what YouTube probably originated when they was thinking. They didn't think niggas was gonna be in here doing news and teaching and philosophizing and you know what I'm saying? They were never thinking of that because again, you know, they think they know, but they really don't know. But that's what they were thinking. So again, you gotta understand that social media is being engaged and watched by a lot of people who are officials. And if you're doing things, they're going to use it and they're going to come knock at your door and all this other good stuff. So be careful about what you out here doing. That's why I do the news. Most might say I'm racist, but again, this is the news. I'm racist when I'm just reporting what's out there. Anyway, moving on. So Lanice Martin III. Yeah, I don't know, brother. You should have that was good. Even though the way he did it, he didn't do it in a way like he paid for it and he just reenacted it and you believed it. So they had to do something to you. You know what I'm saying? They just gonna try to embarrass you a little bit more. I can't see you getting no real time. I don't even understand how they could arrest you and what they said they charge you with, but it is what it is, right? Moving on. All right, so this video here that I'm going to do here, again, like I said, you know, it's July. You know, a lot of people take their summer vacations and getting that time off, right? This time people try to take, you know, places that they always want to go, and they take their children for the church first time for them to go. When you finally get there, right? You get there, it's Disney World and all this other good stuff. But then, you know, it's other families there as well. Everybody there kind of, you know, it's just same time doing the thing, family out and trying to enjoy, have a good time. Then that situation where it just seems like they said you could take the nigga out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out the nigga, right? Yeah, we done heard that before, right? Yeah, you take him out the ghetto, but you can't take the nigga out of the ghetto. So what happens? Situation happened. What's all the ins and outs? We'll talk about it as we get at this, but let me play this first. And we'll be right back. Check this out. So who knew over here, this is what we do, trying to get to the next part. All right, so check it out and be right back.
This video is taking the internet by storm. People are even taking the time to break it down. Let me just underscore all of this. The fight that you're about to see took place at Disneyland in Toontown. That's right, the place where you take your toddlers when you go to Disneyland. All right, let's take a look at it. Again, you're going to see a guy there in the video. He's wearing a bright pink shirt. It may look red on your screen. He apparently gets into some sort of discussion that escalates quite quickly as a woman in a white tank top spits in his face and then he punches her. And then a guy in a white t-shirt. And by the way, all these people seem to be either related or all friends. They're definitely all at Disneyland together. The guy in the white shirt, he starts hitting. And then another woman who's in a beige tank top, she gets into the fracas. Now this goes on for some time. It dies down just for a moment and then it picks back up again as the two women start fighting each other. Then the men enter the fight again, and then somewhere in all of this, a woman gets up from her mobility scooter. She gets involved in the melee and then she ends up on the ground. It doesn't stop there. It stops and starts at least 2 or 3 more times. That's when park goers actually intervened in all of this, and then we see security come in. They break up the fight, and as we understand, that family was escorted out of Toontown and out of Disneyland. As far as a statement from Disneyland, we have reached out to them. At this point, they have not responded. We'll continue to effort that in the morning, and we're not sure if there are any sort of criminal charges against the people involved in all of this. We're working with the Anaheim Police Department right now to get that information. But again, as we come back out here, Toontown, ladies and gentlemen, on a Saturday, big fight. And apparently all of these people knew each other.
All right, so see that so-called violent brawl at Disneyland caught on camera. Again, all CNI is catching a lot of stuff, right? So we see police now investigating the family at the Disneyland fight after the fight goes viral. You know, again, somebody had to post it, right? You know, everybody got a camera. So when something happened, everybody pulling it out, right? And, that's just the way society is today. Instead of people, again, a lot of times you don't want to get involved because, again, you might even know, I know in, my situation, a friend of mine, his father died like that, intervening, trying to break up something. And he got stabbed and he died from that. So a lot of people are very apprehensive about trying to get involved when they see situations like that. So what we see is these California families, it's possible they're going to end up getting some legal trouble after they had complete meltdown and full view of cameras, right? So, and a lot of witnesses. Now, I don't know if you're going to get a lot of these people to come and testify on them, maybe the affidavits or police statements that was taken. They're going to use that, but I don't see them people, because people from Disney World coming from all over parts of the country and some out of the country, right? And so, somebody is going to testify on their behalf. I don't think they're going to come back unless they just really say, you really, disrupted, and my children are distraught, and really want to help stick a nigga in there, right? Just to show that we don't want this kind of bullshit here amongst us, as if they don't do the same thing. But again, we have the face right now, so we have to deal with it, right? So it says the police officer were originally called to the park on Saturday on aid on breaking up the violent fracases, or the fracas, as they don't want to say, the fracas, right? So it looked like in the Anaheim police sergeant, Darren Wyatt, he said the whole incident began with the quarrel between a brother and a sister. And then it shortly escalated into an event that got the other family members involved. So this was family affair. This wasn't like other people. This was a family thing. So there was some animosity, but some shit that was already there. You know how it is, family. You know how it is. We get together, and then again, everybody get a little bat juice into them. Done puffed a cup a little bit, and some shit that's been irking the motherfucker for a long time. Ain't had a chance to cross that path. Here's a perfect opportunity. It just happened to happen that we gonna be at Disneyland, right? So the brother says about some probably past things they never got off their chest, and something probably was said, right? The lick was, they already had a wick that was already lit, right? They had been long lit, and then, the situation, it came, and then this is what it's going to be, right? And so what you see is that you see the woman spitting in the face of her brother. Now, again, black folks, you know this, right? You know that. You know when you do that what time it is. Spitting has become that is like one of the lowest things of low, especially on the black psyche. Matter of fact, let me give you something. Y'all remember those who watch Roots, right? Remember Roots? You remember the scene of Roots. Besides seeing LeVar Burton or Kunta Kinte getting whipped, there's one other scene that just sticks in the minds of us. You know what scene that was? Remember when Kizzy seen old Sandy Duncan used to grow up and teaching Kizzy how to read and all that. Now they had gotten old. And then here she was riding around with her, her horse and buggy, and wanted herself a nice cool drink. And just happened to be Kizzy was at the water fountain. And asked, "Oh, kid, would you like to kindly give me a sip of water?" And so she looking at her like, "You don't remember me?" She don't remember, no. I don't remember you. So she gave her the glass of water, a little cup of water. She drink it down. She was like, "Can I have another one?" Kizzy like, you don't remember me. She said, "No. You don't remember my name of that?" "No, I don't remember you." So when Kizzy go to pour the drink the second time, what old Kizzy do? Turn around and in the cup and give it to her and wash it down her throat, and with a smile down her throat. And every black person that was watching it had the same feeling. You know what I'm saying? So when the sister decided to go ahead and spit at the brother, it triggered something. Right? And so it brought it to a big ass escalation involving hair pulling, some slap punches, and then even the fact that it lasted about 5 minutes, despite instances where it looked like things was cooling down. Then it was like a number of people got knocked down to the ground, right? And we see all that, right? Brother was throwing haymaker, but you know how it was in the situation. Relationship called you to get into it because they in it. Now, if they brothers and sisters, mean that his lady was, it was his wife or his lady, and her man and her husband, based on what was taking place, he had to square up because why? You want to have that shit go down, and then your ass got to go back at that goddamn hotel. You know what I'm saying? You got all this plan thinking how y'all finna get it in. Y'all got this room. Y'all finna, finna get it in because y'all on vacation. But it would have been all blown up if you didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? And yet here they all family. You know what I'm saying? Hat Roy's and McCoy going down like that, right? And so again, not so much about having a family affair fighting like that. It's just the fact it's in public like that. Right? And then they're going to heighten that situation because it's us. And look how they promoting it and it went viral and just people got so much to say. You understand? We got to learn to be able to deal with each other in a much better fashion than the way we doing it. Because we're giving too much cannon fodder to all this media and all to this social media to make us look so goddamn bad. When again, you have shows like Mr. Blows Your Mind that do the opposite and try to do the same thing with other people with the shit they doing. Right? So again, we not under, maybe they blew some smoke before, right? Maybe they sipping, you know what I'm saying? They a little hot in there, whatever. And things transpired and things got said, and again, the sister took it to another level where the brother just couldn't let that shit slide. But again, it's in public, right? So, it happens, and that's the way it is, and that's the way that story goes. So it is what it is, right? So we're going to move on, right? Man, boy, I tell you, it's how it goes, man. We try to be, not having that kind of situation, and sometimes it just can't. You just can't resolve it that way. It just had to go there. But they all got escorted out, and now they all gonna have some kind of cases. More like the prosecutor's gonna be the one trying to, due to the simple fact being on that property, that's more them trying to do something. You two trying to prosecute each other. That's not what it is. Them. It's the business part saying, we don't want this shit here. And we're going to make a motherfucking example out of y'all. Right? We're going to make you at least go through it. Whether the charges get dropped, but we just going to, publicize this shit. Because we're going to keep playing this shit over and over and over until that whole shit get resolved. Remember what I said, because I'm going to be playing some of it again. They're going to talk about it again. So moving on. So let me show you this here. And I was talking about in the intro, this story here is kind of a really freakish way. And it's like, damn, he got caught in a bad situation where I don't know if he could have just got up out of it. But let me show you this story and we'll be right back. Check it out.
Right now in Highlands County, traps are out to catch a pack of dangerous dogs. Deputies say that they're responsible for a person's death. A Lake Placid man was found covered in bites, over 100 of them. Nightside's Bo Zimmer tells us people won't feel safe until those hounds are found.
I was blessed to raise him upright.
Family members are mourning the loss of Melvin Olds Jr., the 45-year-old attacked Thursday by a pack of dogs while taking a shortcut through the woods in the Highway Park area of Lake Placid.
It's awful and it's devastating. I'm sad.
The medical examiner's office says an autopsy helped confirm Olds was killed by dogs, found with over 100 bite wounds across his body.
When dogs get in packs, you never know what's going to happen.
Olds' girlfriend was first to recognize the body.
I almost passed out, and my neighbors, they came and they held me up, and I just ran home.
She too says she's seen dogs roaming the area.
They've never jumped down at me or tried to attack me, maybe growled a little.
Highlands Sheriff's deputies and animal control have already rounded up 6 loose dogs, but won't be sure they have the right animals until DNA test results come back.
Hopefully the medical examiner will be able to give us some information that will either make us continue being very aggressive for this, or or not.
Meanwhile, Old's family says they're only left with memories.
I'm gonna miss him. Oh, I'm gonna miss him.
What a terrible way to die. I mean,
I
you gotta
hope
catch these dogs.
I hope they catch all those dogs and everybody stays safe out there. The sheriff's office is beefing up its patrols in that area. And until they get more answers from the autopsy, they are keep capturing all of the stray dogs out there, I should say.
All right. So we see that in Lake Placid, Florida, we see that the Melvin Olds Jr., 45, found dead by 100 dog bites after he took a shortcut to get home, right? And so it seems like there was a pack of dogs that mauled him and through a wooded area in Florida, right? According to the Highland County Sheriff Office now, right? It said about 6 dogs have been captured so far, and their bite size matches with the wounds of Old Body, the sheriff officer said. So that alone is not enough to say that there were animals involved, that these animals were until they do a DNA test, right? So, you know, just tragic in itself, man. You know what I'm saying? For me, from where I grew up at, man, we had stray dogs. Like if you go back into like in the, especially like you say 70s, you seen stray dog by the 80s. You ain't seen dog. You know why you didn't see stray dog? Now again, this ain't no crack to nobody. Just because I'm saying that this is what a TI is, what it was, where I was. Now again, anybody remember when the Cambodians came to the United States, right? Cambodians, like I say, a lot of people from a lot of nations end up. If you grew up in certain areas and you come up from certain hoods, for my particular hood, we was getting a lot of people that was coming from the other hood. They would put them in certain little sections over here. So I grew up and knowing some Cambodians and stuff like that. But again, a lot of the pigeons was starting to be missing. A lot of stray dogs. Shit, I even got a story to tell you. Well, shit, I had a dog myself. Right? I got a dog. One day, I'm riding the bike down. And some lady gave a dog, had a kid, she gave a dog, took the dog home. Dog ended up getting comfortable with me. Dog was trained smart to the motherfucker, right? Could let his ass out, go out and stuff. He scratch on the door when he want to go out, let him go out, do his thing, and come on back, right? So, you know, I guess I was at school or whatnot. Mama done let him out or something. He went out, he never came back. So I'm like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Everybody in the hood knew that was my dog and all that. So I'm like, damn. What happened to my damn dog? You know what I'm saying? They ain't heard nothing about nobody, no dog getting hit by no car, nothing like that. So I'm like, damn, I think these motherfuckers done ate my goddamn dog. You know what I'm saying? I'm fucked up. I'm a kid. I'm like, these motherfuckers done ate my damn dog and shit, right? But at that particular time, I even had another little dog that used to come kick it with my dog. He was a stray dog. Scotch Terrier motherfucker too, right? Motherfucker, he was wild as shit. But, you know, he kind of like I was his master and shit, you know. But anyway, we used to have we used to call them soups, right? Remember that shit? Soup dog, the dog all mixed up because everybody, you know how dogs back in the day, you go outside and you see dog just, you know, riding each other, right? He getting his in, right? So, yeah, the little packs and shit. You know, once somebody you do that, you gotta get a brick. Back in the day when you could find a brick. Do a brick in a motherfucking dog. Your motherfucker going by the long head, right? But in this case, my man ain't, you know, today in this plastic bottle ass shit, you can't pick a bottle up and he ain't strapped, you know what I'm saying? So you trying to kick, you know, dogs, you know, mouth is like a hand. You know what I'm saying? They'll catch your motherfucking kick, you know what I'm saying, leg or whatever I'm saying, and get you down. And it's like fucked up because you had nowhere to run. You took a shortcut and it happened to be in a wooded ass area. So the only thing I'm thinking is maybe I'll try to hit one of them damn trees. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to get bob and weave and kick and try to scare y'all ass, back you up enough, and even try to get me to a tree so I can get up. You know what I'm saying? It's a wild story, man. And it's a real tragic way to end up having to losing your life about some shit. Now again, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Unless, you know, let's just say hypothetically, and again, making no light of no situation, just saying, you know, maybe some shit had happened. Maybe, you know, you did something and the dog remembered you or some shit. Right? How we know, you know what I'm saying? Again, I don't know. Do you work, you know what I'm saying? May smell like bologna, meat. I don't, you know, again, just a pack of dogs like that, it's just wild. And again, not to make no light of the situation. Again, I'm giving some, light and shine and some honor to this brother here, Melvin Olds, for losing his life based on that. But again, like I said, we got to be mindful about all this shit out here. And again, you get caught up in a situation like that. What are you to do? What are you to do? You understand? So, tragic, man. Tragic way to lose your life. So that's that brother there, Melvin Olds, and Black Minds News gave a little light onto that for that story there. So we're going to move on. All right, so, again, political season. And everybody fighting, trying to find positions, a way to get themselves in, and so it wouldn't be no different. But see, sometimes you got to ask yourself, if a motherfucker is willing to go out their way to use the card to try to win, they pulling out every stop as possible, right? They gonna pull it all out, whatever's clever, right? And so this story here, let me pull this up, and then we'll see, and then be right back. Check it out.
Mayor de Blasio's decision to make raising a black son and the fear of police an issue in his presidential campaign sparks intense pushback. CBS 2's political reporter Marcia Kramer has more on the mayor's rocky relationship with the NYPD.
It seems like the tale of two de Blasios, his honor playing kissy-kissy with cops at an NYPD graduation.
All of you are joining a winning team. You are joining a champion team.
Then bemoaning the relationship between cops and the black community as he runs for president, using his son again.
There's something that sets me apart from all my colleagues running in this race, and that is for the last 21 years I've been raising a black son in America.
As a political foil, first at the debate, then a Dante op-ed piece in USA Today, as a way to make the need to improve community police relations a centerpiece of his long-shot campaign. Putting Dante front and center is credited with helping him win the mayoralty in 2013.
Bill de Blasio will be a mayor for every New Yorker, no matter where they live or what they look like. And I'd say that even if he weren't my dad.
6 years later, the mayor hopes it will inject new campaign magic. He spoke about Dante's op-ed at the Rainbow Push convention with Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Dante wanted to explain as a 21-year-old African-American man.
The pushback from the law enforcement community has been intense.
Doing his campaign the way he's doing it isn't helpful to either side. What he does is he furthers the mistrust in communities of color, and he brings bitterness of law enforcement, and he creates a divisive of us versus them mentality.
Patrolmen's Benevolent Association President Patrick Lynch blamed the hostility cops face on the street on the demonization of cops by de Blasio and other elected officials. Detectives Union President Michael Palladino says, while in the performance of his duties he pretends to appreciate police, but when campaigning he tries to capitalize politically by spreading dangerous, hateful rhetoric about the police. And in 2019, it might not be a good political strategy.
But it's not likely to help him in Iowa. It's not likely to help him in New Hampshire. The gamble is that he can win in South Carolina. He shouldn't hack the house on that.
Well, the head of the Sergeants Union invited the mayor and Dante to meet with him to explore ways to improve police-community relations. A spokesperson for the mayor said de Blasio is in regular communication with police brass, and they're the ones helping to build trust on our streets. Dana.
So the invitation was turned down, I gather.
Well, they say they haven't exactly received it yet, so
Okay.
they're playing a little fast and furious.
All right. Thank you, Marcia.
All right, so we see Mayor de Blasio again trying to run for campaign for presidency, but he looked like he got a dilemma there, right? And it looked like he's trying to use both sides of the fence. One aspect being the mayor, again, you are the commander of the police of your city, right? And then on your campaign trying to run for president, you're talking about how you have a black son and how your black son and that dealing with police. And again, I'm still trying to figure out how certain terms are being used, and I'll talk about it as we go on into it, right? So we see that he has a son named Dante, right? Dante, right? And, he had wrote an article earlier this month, like in the first of this year. And it was like during a trip in California. I think Dante was about 18. He was on a late night walk in San Francisco, right? I think it's in the Tenderloin district. And he had wrote an op-ed for the USA Today, and Dante described forgetting the code to his friend's apartment, standing outside for 10 minutes trying to figure out how to get into when the police crews arrived about 1 a.m. So he was trying to get into his friend's, forgot the code, and it was still outside, and the police rolled up on him, right? He said, I figured I must be heading somewhere else, but no, it pulled over right in front of me, right? And then I had been aware of the fear I caused as a young black man. I had seen people cross the street to avoid me. He followed around stores, and someone thought I was trying to break into a home. But the truth was obvious. Somebody had called the police on me. And so he, Dante, being de Blasio's son, panicked, typing in the code correctly so fast that the cops didn't even have a chance to step out of the car to question him. So he got so scared of the situation, from something he couldn't remember to all of a sudden now, everything worked, didn't it, right? And so he talks about how his fear in that moment was giving him the chance, right, to write about this article that he ended up writing about. Now, he had graduated from Yale University earlier that year, and he had penned the talk. And I guess he was feeling that because he had did that article that these police officers might have read it and figured out who he was, and so he was gonna get it. He thought they was gonna get at him, right? And then, he was saying about when he turned 21, that his father, again, about this talk that he had with him, right? And so he sees de Blasio having a black son. And I guess you can't even say black son, because again, when you look at the natural history of the Negro race, it's a primary source edition, right? And then it'll tell you about the true mulatto. What is the true mulatto? A true mulatto is a white man having a baby with a black woman. I'm gonna say that again. A true mulatto is a white man having a baby with a black woman. So that means that the son, yes, you can say he's black because of his mother, but he is coming out of the seed of his father, right? And if you are of the seed of your father, planted into the womb of your mother, how do you bypass and say he's a black man? He might be a biracial man, he might be a mixed man, but I don't know how everybody gets to say, because I know they made the rule talking about one drop. Well, how come one drop of black blood makes you black, but one drop of white blood can't make you white, right? And so this whole game with this, so again, when they look at the situation, he will get some kind of privilege because of his father, but because of his father being in the political, let's say, put it this way, he's in that political status, mayor trying to be president, and then he had ruffled feathers again when he used that about his son earlier. Remember, the police turned their back on him, right? So again, you're trying to use this, your black son, and understanding, use it to get black votes. But as that white dude in the video said, that shit ain't gonna work. And New Hampshire and them pure white, where it matters states, they're not gonna fall for that. And then the camaraderie between you and police officers, they believe is divisive because they said that you making it a us versus them mentality. But again, him being a father to a son of color, he knows. So it's not like he's being divisive, it's just he's caught in the truth. And the truth of the matter is, it is not the most safest place for a young black man to be out here getting accosted by a police officer. On this show, we show it all the time. Now, again, there's situations where it is merited because they are wrong and they ain't wrong. But there's a lot of stuff that is just, over-exaggerated. Situations blown way out of proportion. And so he's trying to be truthful and juggle at the same time. But again, like they said, you can't play the fence because the fence belong on the other side. So you either you all side one or all side on the other. You can't play the fence. And so that's a decision he's going to have to make. And I don't think that's a decision he really want to make. So if you're going to play the black card, it's only going to work for so long. It ain't going to work all the way. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like when Barack Obama said if he had a son, it would look just like, Trayvon Martin, right? He would look like him, right? But you didn't say he would be Trayvon Martin because, again, he know who he is and who his makeup was. African daddy with a white mama. So to be African American, black American, he knew that would not have been true. So you got to listen to the words sometimes people be saying. And that's what it was. So de Blasio, again, is trying to use the kind of a black card in a way to try to pick up some black votes and think that was going to help him to catapult. But it's not going to work, right? Because, again, like I said, de Blasio, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it might be a little Italian, right? Something up in that area, right? So, anyway, but, playing the black card, everybody seems like everybody trying to claim black. You have a person who is not saying they're not black as into melanation, having melanin in your skin. But again, like I keep saying, black in this land is about the descendancy, legacy, and history of black Americans in the United States. It's not so much as to the color. Right? It's about the lineage. And when we say that, we mean that. We're not trying to, make ourselves to be more important or trying to make ourselves more distinctive, but we are distinctive as like a tribe. And people got to understand it. So anytime you try to throw somebody in there, we're going to now be a little bit like pedigree. We're going to check the pedigree. You know what I'm saying? You got it from your mama's side, but again, your daddy is a white man. So again, I understand you might be viewed as a black man, but you still have some privileges as being a mulatto mixed biracial person than to be a black man with a white mother. Still might, again, until somebody really know that, you might find the stigmatization in that. But other than that, that would make you more of, let's say, if we say a black man because you came out of black loins. But a lot of people, they don't want to go there. They say, well, black is black. I don't think so. And I don't think you don't study that kind of, literature to actually know what you're saying on that. So again, he has a mixed son, biracial son, but again, under the heading of what they say a true mulatto is, white man mixing with a black woman is a true mulatto. So de Blasio got a choice you got to make. Moving on. All right, so again, let's look at this situation too. This is kind of wild as hell too, right? Got a situation here again where people, again, having problems with people of color. I looked at this situation and I looked at it and I said, okay, all right, let me let y'all see it first and then let's go move on from there. Let me see. I think I got a commercial one in right there. Then be right back. Check this out, y'all.
Well, friends have identified him as 17-year-old Elijah Alameen and say he did not deserve to die. According to police, the suspect brutally stabbed him to death just 48 hours after getting out of jail on another violent crime. The suspect's attorney says the mental health system is broken.
You're going to the store, then your son just doesn't come home.
Friends say 17-year-old Elijah Alameen had big plans to own his own business one day. But on 4th of July, police say Elijah was at the soda machine inside this Circle K when 27-year-old Michael Adams came up behind him and slit his throat. Ariana Ivory worked with Elijah at Taco Bell for a year and says they bonded over Elijah's passion.
He talked about rap music all the time. He loved rap artists.
Ivory says Elijah would memorize lyrics for a much deeper purpose than the music itself.
He just always said that rap artists were like, it spoke to him and that it just gave him a sense of purpose in a way, like that he went through a lot of things that they went through too.
Never did Ivory think that would be the reason Elijah was killed. According to Adams' attorney, he was just released from the Department of Corrections 2 days ago after serving a 13-month sentence. The police report says Adams told police the 17-year-old was listening to rap music in his car, and he believes people who listen to rap are a threat to him and the community. So he said he stabbed him with a pocket knife.
This is a disabled person, and he's been released into the world and left to fend for himself. And 2 days later, this is where we are.
His attorney says the Department of Corrections failed Elijah and that Adams was put back on the streets with no resources or psychiatric help, even though he had a past of severe mental illness and violent crimes. She wants policy to change so no other teen has their life senselessly cut short.
He had a lot of dreams that he told me about that he really wanted, and I just wish, like, if I could talk to him one more time and be like, dude, go follow those dreams that you really wanted to do. Everybody deserves that.
Now, that attorney tells us she wants to see more mental health resources and psychiatric help.
All right, not sure why that cut out on us, but it did. So again, what we see is an outrage over Arizona man who killed teen from listening to rap music, right? So we're seeing that there was a 17-year-old who was listening to rap music and was cold-bloodedly killed. And this was on 4th of July at a convenience store in Peoria in Arizona, right? And, Elijah was his name, right? Elijah, what was the young man's name? Elijah, and that's saying his last name now, huh? Okay, so not talking about his last name, maybe it'll come later, but, Elijah Alman. Elijah Alman. We see that this individual, this Michael Adams, who was 27, right? Let's see if I have an image for y'all on this. Let me see if I have an image for y'all on this or not. Maybe I do, because I think that's kind of wild. I thought I had an image for that. I don't have an image for it, so sorry about that, y'all. So, anyway, they're using the fact that to say that he had just got out of a mental health facility. It looked like he was just really locked up. And again, I've talked many times about a lot of these correctional centers are like, mental health facilities anyway. A lot of people are dealing with a lot of trauma, trying to self-medicate themselves. So even if they diagnose them, they still not going to admit them for the simple fact that why? Where's the budget for that? They in there just to lock you up, 3 hots in a cot, trying to transfer you, either get you up out of there or trying to get you to go up, right? And so after 2 days of him being released, he does this. And so they want to say, well, his mental health capacity is what caused that. Is it really, or is it just the simple fact that my man just had problems? Because he said that people who listen to rap music are threats to him, people like him in this community. So basically this is coded word saying white folks, right? And that to, stab a man in the back and then slit his throat, that's heinous, man. You know what I'm saying? And, there's no words that can describe that any justification in trying to use that as a defense, because, again, you can say that somebody is off and use that. Again, we seen a story where a person said he had autism, and yet he still knew how to call the police and still know how to be racist in that, too. So that's just either a way to hide behind it, and maybe it might be legitimate, but, again, can you really say that that was the main cause and effect? Because it seems like you just got issues. Again, people who play this type of music are threats, and the stigmatization and all that's been purported, and people are using this, right? Everything is seen to be heightened towards not liking blacks. We black men, again, I think Asar one sent me talking about, we the most hated on the planet, and that's just what it is really come down to, right? You know, you don't have to be doing anything. You just minding your own business and it just irking somebody because of your presence, right? And so here's a young man, 17 years old, had to aspire to do a lot of things in life, but somehow it seemed like you're not going to get a chance to do that because, again, this individual here, 27 years old, 10 years older than him, right, decided that he felt like this was a good time for him to do what he do. I read some places where he said he was a white supremacist, right? And so whether that should be true or not, but again, we're in the state of Arizona. And again, we talking about Arizona with the Colin Kaepernick, right? With the situation in the Betsy Ross. And it was the 4th of July. Maybe they were pissed off. Maybe pissed off about that too, right? So correlation, Kaepernick, black, rap music, you know, a whole lot of, you know, again, a lot of stuff to be played in that. And so sad, tragic that young man had to lose his life over some just pure hatred. That's basically what you really boiled down to. That Elijah Alman died for the simple fact that this white man felt like this was his way to contribute to all the other shit that's been going on in the country. And that's just how it goes. So get to the next story, man. All right, so I'm going to take us across the country. We're going to go over to the Holy Land. Right? I'm going to take you over to the Holy Land. You know the shit be happening over at the Holy Land too, huh? You know, they don't play shit like this all the time, or they really don't play it at all, right? So let me show you this. Something over in the Holy Land took place. Check this out and be right back.
The intense grief and anger of Solomon Tika's family at his death has been reflected in some of the biggest nationwide protests in Israel in recent years. The 18-year-old was shot dead in the northern city of Haifa by an off-duty police officer who says he tried to break up brawling youths, but they turned against him. Other witnesses say the police officer started the confrontation. There are almost 150,000 Jews of Ethiopian descent in Israel, and at times they've complained of racial discrimination.
I have lots of friends who the police have hit and targeted with tasers. Yesterday it was him, tomorrow it could be me, and the day after it could be my brother or a friend. Why do they do this? Because they're racists.
I have small kids. This is enough. It's not nice. I'm always worried about my son until I see him with my own eyes when he comes home. Aren't we also humans?
Thousands of protesters brought traffic to a standstill in a dozen Israeli towns and cities from early evening rush hour until late into the night. A police spokesman said they needed to carry out a thorough and comprehensive evaluation of the circumstances of the shooting.
The police officer who shot Solomon Teka is under house arrest. He's actually been held at a secret location for his own.
The intense grief and anger of Solomon Tika's family at his death has been reflected in some of the biggest nationwide protests in Israel in recent years. The 18-year-old was shot dead in the northern city of Haifa by an off-duty police officer who says he tried to break up brawling youths, but they turned against him. Other witnesses say the police officer started the confrontation. There are almost 150,000 Jews of Ethiopian descent in Israel, and at times they've complained of racial discrimination.
I have lots of friends who the police have hit and targeted with tasers. Yesterday it was him, tomorrow it could be me, and the day after it could be my brother or a friend. Why do they do this? Because they're racists.
I have small kids. This is enough. It's not nice. I'm always worried about my son until I see him with my own eyes when he comes home. Aren't we also humans?
Thousands of protesters brought traffic to a standstill in a dozen Israeli towns and cities from early evening rush hour until late into the night. A police spokesman said they needed to carry out a thorough and comprehensive evaluation of the circumstances of the shooting. The police officer who shot Solomon Teka is under house arrest. He's actually been held at a secret location for his own protection. Now, the Police Internal Investigations Department has looked into the deaths of 10 Israeli citizens who were shot by the police over the last 5 years, and no police officer has ever faced charges in connection with any of those killings. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera, Tel Aviv.
All right, so now we all went over to the Holy Land, right? Over in Israel, right? Same old thing. No matter where you go around the bubble and you black, it's always the same old song, right? It's the same old song. So you see violent protests erupts in Israel over police shooting of an unarmed Ethiopian teen, right? And so we see that around July 2nd, 2019, there was a protest of the killing of Solomon Teka, right? He was a young man of Ethiopian origin, killed by an off-duty police officer, right? It's like no matter whether they're on duty or off-duty, cops are always on duty, right? Like the other day, I just did the story about the Washington, D.C. Remember with the brother that got into a confrontation with the off-duty police officer, and they dropped the charges, right? Even though the individual he got into the confrontation with didn't know he was an off-duty police officer, and he never disclosed he was an off-duty police officer, but they justified and dropped the cases from the prosecutors because, again, why? He's part of them. So we get that when you're a police officer and there's a certain protection, but again, when wrong is wrong, wrong is wrong. And again, so we see that even in Israel, right, that they're, have to protest because, again, they're having a lot of situations where police are seen to be targeting their people, and they're kind of apprehensive like our children would be, and us as parents seeing our children go out there not knowing whether they're going to return or not, running the coastal police, and then situations turn something that's not even there, and they end up being getting killed and saying things happen, and then to come to find out later through investigations that it was all a lie. So people are taking it to the streets and trying to bring some kind of awareness, bringing a global attention to it. It made Black Minds news, so that just showed how it's helped. It's working. So we see Sunday after the bullet shot at the ground bounced up and mortally wounded the teenager. So he shot at the ground and the bullet ricocheted. And so the cop was being charged with negligent homicide. And this aggrieves the Ethiopian community of Jews of the Jewish state. And as you've seen in the video, you see the people protesting and, burning tires and so forth. And, just bringing a lot of attention to it because, again, they're saying it's not just that one incident, that there's a lot of situations that are unbeknownst to people outside of Israel, especially coming to the United States and so forth. Again, like I said, it done made Black Minds news over here that those who privy to hear the information over here. Again, my show is not to be so much about entertaining and trying to be elaborate and No, I'm to just bring the information to you, to bring you awareness of things that are around you that is going on constantly and daily. Right? No matter where the story may go, we will bring it in. I'll give a black commentary once in a while, my perspective, my history, my experience to it. Right? Other people got the other way, how they do it. This is how we do it over here. Right? And so, again, don't matter. It's over in Israel. It's in the United States. It's in Africa. No matter where we go as black people, it seem to be like, these situations are happening. Is it, as they said, us versus them mentality that they talk about the de Blasio with his son? Or is it hateful rhetoric making us having animosity toward police? Or is it just the preponderance of the evidence that is being laid out that shows that there is some disparity in the way that you deal with one particular people and another people being dealt with in a different way? And so if we were to line up and stack up all the evidence compared to where you say it is merited versus those that are unjustified, I think the unjustified power will be much higher than the justified power, right? And so we have to, as black news outlets and medias and things, of those who purport news, we have to bring this kind of news as much as some people like say, well, why are you so focusing on this? Because, again, leaving your house every day, living in environments, to and fro, dealing with shit at work, and then have to come through the obstacles and maze and still come across somebody who having a bad day and can use their ability, their profession to whether or not take you off the planet, but disrupt your whole life and make you go through a whole lot of stuff. And it's constant and daily. And then we also know that there's things that happen in legislative, and we have, incarcerations, right? That is for profit. And so we, all these things have to be made aware of. We have to always be constant aware in all the things that are happening, regardless of whether it may be happening directly with you, around you, next to you, somewhere. We have to all be vigilant and mindful. So again, that's in Israel. And that was the young brother that got shot, an Ethiopian brother, teenager, Solomon Taka, who, again, from a bullet that was shot on the ground that bounced up. So I guess that wasn't really intended, but the negligence of the fact that it happened, and I guess they're going to do the review and then figure out how they're going to deal with it. So stay tuned on that one. All right, so what else I got for you? All right. Let's see. Well, let me go ahead and do this here. This story here. Let me go and do this here. And I got this one here doing something. So let me show this and be right back, y'all. Check this out.
It's a breathtaking, horrifying, jaw-dropping moment. A man on the street walks up to a woman on the street, kicks out her leg, knocks her out cold, and walks away. The next moments may be more disturbing. One young man walks up, looks at her motionless body, pulls out his phone, takes a video. The next 4 teens do the same, take cell phone videos. First, I received the video, then disturbing texts from a source. They didn't help her. They took what looks like her phone while she's out cold. You can actually see one of the teens bending down and picking something up. There's more. The source saying nobody called 911 to help her. And a shocking revelation, the source says they actually come back. A kid lays beside her and takes a selfie. And finally, from a source close to the investigation, she was knocked out cold, just laid there until she regained consciousness. Can I show you this video? No. The guys that punched you? Broadway Avenue, Beachview. This is the young lady knocked out cold in the video. She has a series of arrests on mostly drug charges. She's an addict. We will not show her face. We will not use her name. I'm trying to talk to her so we can help her. She's most likely high on drugs and alcohol. She panics.
No, never gonna happen. No,
No, I don't want to put you.
No.
I'm trying to help. No, we want to show you.
No. Peace. Bye.
She freaks out, runs off.
Get the camera away.
We're going to put the camera away. I call her mother to the scene to try to intervene. That's her mother running along Broadway Avenue. She spots her daughter several blocks away, walks her towards us. Her mother reached out to me with this text message. I'll do anything possible to help her, but I'm raising her daughter, and now her daughter has to come first. And another text. I told her about you and offered to pick her up and take her away from this situation. She said if I didn't, someone was going to kill her. That's why we're here, to get her help. Do you want some help?
I would like it, but I don't know what I need help for. I'm not sure at this point.
Well, but I can get you into a rehab facility. So if I make the calls, will you make sure she...
I will make sure she gets there.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
She's lying there like somebody just, hit a deer and it's on the side of the road.
Dr. Neil Capretto, Gateway Rehab. He's shocked by the videos.
It's like a sideshow in a circus. I mean, this is a human being.
Dr. Capretto steps up immediately. I called you and immediately you said we have to help her. Why do you do this?
Because they deserve to be helped. All human beings who are suffering. I, as a physician, this is my oath to help people who are sick. And she's sick and she needs help.
Text from mom. Oh my God, Marty, I'm just leaving rehab where I just left my daughter. I didn't think I would really see this day in my life. I really don't know how to thank you and Dr. Capretto. The police also were very helpful. I've never really experienced anything like this before. It really does take a village. Forever grateful to you all. Meantime, Pittsburgh police deeply concerned about this video and this incident. Sources telling me they believe they know who committed this violent act.
All right, so we call this Subscriber's Choice. This was sent to us by Bernard Thomas. Not the video, but he did send in the story, right? So we're going to go ahead and get into that there, right? This is by Bernard Thomas. As you see in the video, let me see. Matter of fact, I didn't get to see everything because, again, I'm doing something else. Let's see, where did I do with the story, though? Where's the story at, though? Okay, let's see. See if I got it here. No, that's not in there either, huh? All right, y'all. So sorry about that because I had to do something while this was playing. So I don't have everything I need because I had to step away for a minute. What is this? Hold on, man. All right. Let me see. Let me see. If it's on this one here. So, nope, that's not there either, huh? All right, so let me do it this way. No. That's crazy. All right, so I think I got it here, right? Let's see. I think I got it here. Let's see. I think it's this one here. All right, so it looks like it talks about this was a horrifying assault. It was caught on surveillance video. And it looked like they said it was a robbery in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right? Shows a man walking up to a woman, kicking her in the leg, punching her in the face, which knocked her out cold. This man is then seen walking away from the scene. Moments later, a young man walks up, same woman, and looks at her and her motionless body, proceeds to pull out his cell phone and take a video. Okay? And, I put it like this. Well, again, what you think? Again, this society has become so desensitized to criminality, right? That it becomes a spectacle more than the seriousness of the situation. And so what people do is looking at ways that they can have, viral videos, always in the hunt of catching the next viral to make some money off the situation. Yet the person seems to be in need of help. That's the furthest thing because, again, a desensitized society. That's just the name of the game. That's, they charge it to the game. That's just the way it is now. So you created this monster, and then you want to now, when you see when it's one of yours, because I think that's the real reason why you really put so much emphasis on it, because it was a black man knocking out a white woman. Now, again, we're not sure what that whole situation is. And again, according to what this video is purporting, is that she is a person who was on, some kind of, drugs, right? So could it have been, it was a situation she might be, again, how she making her money to, to provide her habit. Maybe she turned tricks. And maybe, or either she worked for homie, she, didn't bring the bread in, or tricked homie, got the money, didn't provide the service, ran out on him, and he finally ran across and caught up with you, gave the old foom fop, right? Gave you that foom fop, right? And again, we can only speculate from that situation about what took place. We don't know all the ins and outs. But again, when they came to her to try to get her to relate, she was like, I ain't gonna get into all involved in that because, again, I'm on the street. I know what that's about. You know what I'm saying? You'll ruin me, I'll get killed pulling that move. So, again, she knew all the ins and outs about that. She knew that was just, again, part of the game. But see, the sincerity of the, this white woman and out there with these vicious animals and savages. Let me see if I can help you. I'm going to try to do everything I can to help you and get you some help, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say whether he haven't done that before or not. I'm just saying in that situation, we see, again, that, humanity seems to be a lot more when it comes to white on white, but when black on or white on black seem to be, they don't understand what the word humanity even means, right? And matter of fact, I will play something a little later on again because this is around about the time about 1964, probably was 64 of July around 16 that Malcolm X had said this particular thing that I will play a little later on. But again, about this humanity, seeing people don't have the compassion and understandings when it comes to other people other than their own, only in certain situations. Again, looking at people again, selective as to who you're willing to help and not everybody in its entirety. And so, this situation happens more than not when we don't see that kind of outreach. Now, again, this is in Pittsburgh. Might be different again according to wherever you live at. But, to see people in that situation, I've seen videos where people knocked out, laid out on the street, people driving around them. Laid in the middle of the street, cars going around, nobody ain't getting out. They mind their own business. MYOB. MYOB. Mind your own business. Mind your own business. That's what everybody tells you. Mind your own business. Because see, you know what I'm saying? When you live in certain environments, they say snitches get stitches, right? So you ain't trying to get involved. And so now you got a whole society, a whole nation in the same way. Now, camera is still by me, it's in position. I'm just catching that. I'm not getting involved. Now, my man went over there, seemed like he slid his hand, took the phone, right? A lot of times motherfuckers will run them pockets when somebody knocked out, so you got scoundrel motherfuckers out here that do that shit, right? Again, that's part of the game. So, but again, I think it's just more of the simple fact that, again, it was a white woman, right? Being in that knocked out unconscious and so the whole thing and everybody sitting there recording. And that's what made it, in their eyes, like, my God, no one would even call 911, right? When you build this, Aldous Huxley, A Brave New World, when you create that and the monstrosities and creatures that you created based on this, imputing this type of, mindset on people, then you can't be mad when people are not going according to the way that you think you designed, that you design other people in other ways, and it just don't fall the way you want it. So this is the way you have devolved society into this type of beings, where people will see people in situation where somebody should be helping them in emergency coming out. They're just sitting there really just trying to videotape and they'll put it on their page. So that's what society does. And so this story here was again brought to us by Bernard Thomas. Nobody called 911. Witnesses robbed, take phone of unconscious woman. That's what they say. But again, that's the way you bred. You bred the Negro. What they say, you breed the Negro a certain way. And you expect the Negro to act the way you act, but yet you breed him to be another way. Don't work that way. So anyway, moving on. All right, so I'll get down to the nitty gritty, right? Since we talking about that situation. So let's go again. So let's say, okay, Mr. Blow Your Mind just said what he said, right? I just said that situation had a different feel because it was a white woman being knocked out by a black man. Well, let's say, what if I give you a secondary person who could be white? Would it be the same situation in a situation? How extensive would you go not to really get them? But if we was to put somebody in another face there, would you be so humanely? Would you be so humanely? Well, what are you talking about, Mr. Blowback? Check this out. And we'll be right back. Check this out.
If I was going to put the gun up now, what is the... give me just a second. Oh, there he is. Put the knife down. Put the knife down. Put it down! I've got one at gunpoint central. Put the knife down! Put it down! Put it down! Hey, Back up. He's not complying to command central. He's coming at us with a knife. Knife down. Knife down. Knife down. Put the knife down, sir. Please put the knife down. Put it down, man. Please. Help you out, man. We can help you. Please. Put it down. Put the knife down. Put it down. No. 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 Please don't. Sir. Please don't. Do it. No. Please don't. Central, we need units here, 1018. Put the knife down. Put the knife down, sir, please. Please, sir. Put the knife down. We can help you. Put the knife down. Please, put the knife down. Put it down. Don't do this. Put the knife down. Put the knife down, sir. Please. Please, put the knife down. Put the knife down, please, man. Please. Put the knife down. Put it down! Please, no, man, no! Hey, let's leave it. Put it down, please! No! Hands behind your back! No! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Shoot me! No! Get on the ground, man! Say something. No! Shut!
Oh yeah, he did fire. I had the original. Oh, he gunned him up. Now he had his partner in the headlock, right? He had his partner, you know what I'm saying? But my man had a death wish. He was saying he wanted to be dead. Ain't nobody gonna do all that and thinking he's gonna get up out of that situation, right? They did everything possible not to shoot him, right? Wouldn't put the knife down after so many different commands, right? But they was trying to work with him. But I'm just trying to figure out if you would have been a black man, would you have been so lenient? Would you did all that backtracking? No, please don't do it. No, please. Would you do all that if he would have been black? That's just the question we have to ask ourselves. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? We just have to say, can we ever see a situation like this where there's black people like that? Do you get that kind of leeway? That much trying to, work with you, let's be cooperative and trying to be compliant, and you're not complying, but still. Now again, maybe they rookies, you know what I'm saying? They didn't really want to do it, you understand? But had no choice. My man got up after getting gunned up in the stomach. He got up and said, "Come on, kill me." I don't know what he was on, but he sure had a death wish, didn't he? And so the other police officer who shot him first, his partner had to go on finish him off, right? And this was up in Florida, right? And again, they don't even want to tell what my man's name is. They're just talking about the situation in Florida. Deputies fatally shot a man they said threatened them with a knife. The Hillsborough County Sheriff Office says deputy responded to a call about a domestic dispute. Found a 37-year-old man waving a large knife in front of the home. They only say what his name is, right? They said it was women and several children inside. And the man refused to put down the knife, as you've seen in the video. And then you see Daniel DeLima open fire, right? Striking the man several times. He later died at the hospital. But they didn't want to say that the other man. So they try to make it seem like that one officer, right? Oh, that's when deputies Jessica Enos. That was not no female. I didn't see no female. Did y'all see a female? They said Jessica Enos and Daniel DeLima opened fire. I didn't see no female fire. I seen the two dudes. I didn't see no female. But that's what they say. And they never did say what the man's name, the individual who they shot up. But again, in a situation like that, when we see somebody black like that, we even remember the story where there was a brother that was dealing with a patient that was working at a facility that he might be taking care of, someone might be mental, right? And so he was a little irate and whatever, and he came out there, calmed him down, sat in the middle of the street. Somebody called the police. When the police come, now the patient was kind of like Hispanic. The brother was the one that was the attendant. But the police shot him. And he was on the ground laid out, and they shot him. He asked the police, said, well, why'd you shoot me? I don't know. You understand? See, I don't got no rationale, just you black man threat, I got to take you out. But here's all this. You had all the leniency in the world. Excuse me, y'all. You had all the leniency in the world to deal with this situation. You did everything but try not to shoot him. And if he probably didn't have your partner by the back and was going to try to choke his ass out to make you, force you to shoot him, you probably wouldn't have did it then either. You would have still tried to compromise. So it's like other people seem to be less threat, but when it's a black person, we are totally the threat. You ain't got no knife in your hand. I think Francis Cress Wilson said, we already got a threat between our legs. It's already considered a gun. Because, again, we can wipe out a whole nation of people just by having copulations with their women. So we naturally got a gun, brothers, even though you ain't got a gun. So this is what, in their mind, that weapon of mass destruction is just your existence. So again, it doesn't take away from the fact that what you just seen here, just making the correlation between one and the other and just saying, why is this happening more than not on the other side? We can't find no way to kind of happy medium or meeting of the minds and try to figure out a rectified situation. Why happen to just impairing a person? Shoot them where they can be impaired. Shoot his knees, shoot his leg, his thigh, shoot the hand. You know, in the West, we shoot the gun out of his hand. Pew! Right? The gun go out of his damn hand, right? None of that today. Is shoot the target, shoot to kill, ask questions later. Now, that's how it goes, right? Moving on. What else I got for you here, right? Well, we're going to go almost out to the end of the show. Let's see. Well, let's see. I said it in the intro, so I guess I got to go and play it, right? Let me show you this story here.
An Air Force fighter jet hit a bird, causing it to drop 3 dummy bombs over northern Florida. Moody Air Force Base says there were no immediate reports of any injuries or damage, but they're not exactly sure where the 25-pound training bombs landed. They believe it was around 54 miles south of the base. In a release, they say a bird strike caused an inadvertent release, adding that while the dummy bombs are inert, they do have small explosive charges and should not be handled. Katie Johnston for CBSMiami.com.
All right. So Air Force fighter jet drops dummy bombs over Florida after bird strikes, officials say, right? So they said that there was, this Air Force was flying over Florida. And somehow, bird got caught up in the engine, right? And when the bird struck the plane inadvertently, it released 3 dummy bombs, right? Now, they got actual dummy bombs loaded on these planes. Now, again, was you in mission, or was you just, this plane was going from one hangar to another, but it had actual, dropped some A-10C Thunderbolts. And, where they landed, they said they weighed about 25 pounds. They had training munition, non-explosive training ammunition is what they say. Non-explosive. Okay. We had to take their word. We didn't get no detonation off, right? But it did happen. Things happen for a reason. So, shit be flying over. You don't be knowing. Motherfuckers may have live ammo ready again. Like, when I did the story prior before, when I did Subscribers Choice, when Bernard did the situation about the brother that got gunned up over there, for talking about having $800 in his pocket, right? And then some of the things that was being said by some of the people that was watching that commented said you should just fly a plane over there and nuke them all. See? There's a lot of things that happen amongst us that we don't be really knowing. Again, we don't control none of that. And then that's to say that, again, that's what this was about. I'm just saying that planes like that be flying over our head and we don't be knowing. Motherfucker got Could have bombs, missiles, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, sometimes shit just fall out to just, again, make you aware. I mean, is it possible? You know what I'm saying? A lot of shit happening. So people testing and, you know, and seeing. You never know. They said it was a bird. We ain't seen no bird. We ain't seen no plane. We just hearing the story. But they know they let off something that went and hit its target. Maybe it was practice. We don't know. But again, just bringing it for some attention for your FYI. And moving on. All right, so I'm going to bring a little lighten it up here, right? We'll lighten it up a little bit. So we've had this little brother here I seen did his little thing. Bring this here to lighten to bring a little light. Check this out. I'll be right back.
I moved from my old house and I moved from my old friends. I moved from my old way of strife. Thank God I moved out to a brand new life. He changed my old way with words. He changed my old level mind. He changed my heart and gave me a new start because I moved out to a brand new life. Oh, can't you see I'm a new man? Don't you know? No. And one day I'll live in that new land because I moved down to a brand new life.
All right. So little brother there went viral about that video there. That they're showing them pipes, showing he still got that spirit, right? Singing and praising, giving that glory to that which he give honor to, which is a great thing, and it's a good thing to see that our young people still have that, right? Because it seems like everybody's singing a lot of the stuff that used to be the songs of love and inspiration. It's like other people singing. It's like our children don't seem to be wanting to sing that. They want to rap. Right to the singing and the gifts that we used to have. So it's good to see when we see a little shorty like that or a little sister like that still having that. And so we want to get his little shine on the Black Minds News for that, right? And since we're talking about that gifts and wonders, you know, Stevie Wonder had said this the other day. And, you know, play this, let that out right quick and be right back. Check it out.
Famed singer and songwriter Stevie Wonder made a surprise announcement in the middle of his Saturday night concert in London.
So what's going to happen is this. I'm going to have surgery. Oh, he wants to have surgery. I'm going to have a kidney transplant in September of this year.
The 69-year-old says he made the announcement to stop the spread of rumors about his health. Wonder says he has found a donor and will be okay. Tens of thousands of fans were at the show to see the 25-time Grammy Award winner. Wonder didn't give any more details on his health status, but thanked the fans for their love.
All right, so Stevie Wonder. I've been a musical genius for a long time, for 69, like I said, at least over 50 years, right? 50, 55 years or more. Stevie Wonder has amazing sung so much. It's kind of like the shorty was doing what he was doing. Stevie was doing that too. Harmonica, piano, you know, he was doing it all. And so, you know, to see that he had been ill, and I was going to do originally when they broke the story, but I was kind of like, man, you know, hope this was not going to be, you know, that kind of story. But now that he said at this concert that he's going to have a kidney transplant, but again, I don't want to say anything to try to put anything to fruition. But again, you know, it kind of like one of how many left that really has that kind of power and catalog. And hopefully Stevie owns all his and got everything in order. That's one thing I would like to just say. I hope everything is in order, and that, you know, if something should befall him, you know, creator, hopefully not. But, again, somebody might be looking at the way this is a good thing and then already understand how your business and where you're lacking, and this is an opportunity. So I would say, just as a brother, make sure all your A's and P's and Q's is in order, because again, certain people out here looking at ways to make money, and your catalog in itself is, that's some money. Because again, we're talking about different between today's, again, singing versus that prior to, can't compare. So again, those who want to give their wishes and loves and send some good wishes and wills to Stevie, be my guest. All right, y'all. So look like that's about what I'm going to do for this show today. Again, I told you I'm trying to do the shows, try to get them out a little bit faster and quicker, not to be so long-winded, and just trying to bring some information and news out there for those quick breaks. So again, this is the most hated show on the black corner of the internet, and this is what we do. Stay black, love, peace, and all that good stuff. Until the next show, y'all, it is what it is.
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything. Can you feel it?
Luther and I and everyone in this arena tonight are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on. And it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good News, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saying 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin.
They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush,
Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu, all white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. They were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to You can't make me do anything like Chris.
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate
you. You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now, check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks the shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today. I said, Malcolm, I love you.
And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. She said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm going to go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm going to stay there until they tell me you did. Because I'm not going to let this government get two of us for the price of one. And I'm going to call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government is going to get you.